stay, and you don't have to hide away. You'll be in my body, but for now it's time to run, it's time to run.
Alex 452. Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Amsterdam. Welcome to the Hallen, a former tram service station. That's where we're in today. Currently used more as broadcast studios, but hopefully you also like the environment here. I'm Christophe van den Berghe. I'm responsible for sales in EMEA, and I'm so glad that you're all here together tonight to help us actually reveal a new system, a new ecosystem in the wireless technology area. Now, we're going to try to keep this short here so that we can all enjoy each other's and the networking moments and the drinks. But after this session, there will be 3 stations where our experts will be more than happy to guide you through the system and to answer all the questions you have around it. And for the press, we also have a dedicated session starting at 9:30 where they have question possibilities with some of our people that was foreseen. Now, what are we going to do on stage here? Theresa Vondran is actually going to bring you a little bit through the system in some highlights so that at least everybody's on the same page. But I think we should start with somebody who has a lot of information behind the why and the how we came towards today. I would love to introduce you to Andreas Sennheiser, and welcome on stage.
Thank you, Christophe. Thanks. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure and privilege to be here. There are a few occasions that my brother and I both really want to do. I'm the lucky one here, and my brother has other things to do. I'm really glad to be here with you. I'd like to take you on a very brief journey because Christophe said it. It's also about the why behind it and not just the what we've done. And in order to understand that, let me take you a little bit back in time. That was my grandfather, and in 1957, the first wireless microphone was invented by him and his fellow researchers. This is actually already the second one. That's the transistor version in 1958. The tube version was there in 1957. Just to give you an idea, it was running on 5 AA batteries at the time, 3 of which were used to heat the tube and 2 to do the RF. So that was the type of technology, and it would keep your chest warm if you had it. So that was the very beginning, and it was a co-creation with one of our closest customers at the time, the NDR, the Norddeutscher Rundfunk, so the German national TV station that had a creative need for less cable, and we had the creative challenge to get it done. And so that was, I think, that's a little bit a red thread that we see from technology and creativity being very interconnected. Sometimes it's technology that enables more creativity, and sometimes it's the need for a higher degree of creativity that puts a challenge to the technology people to be solved. And that was one of those moments. And then there's, I would say, 60 years of innovation. And most of you are veterans in the industry, way more than I am. You know the 1026 wireless systems, frequency ranges which now my kids operate remote-controlled cars at 27 megahertz, for instance. And then the 1046, then the 3000 series, the 5000 series, 9000 series, uncompressed audio. So a lot of new innovations and great products. And all those products for the last 65 years had one thing in common, more or less. So these 6 decades of wireless had in common that were all based on a more or less single carrier transmission, whether analog or digital, but that was how it was invented, and that was how it always was. So we were inspired by also the limitation of these systems, inspired in a positive way that isn't there a way to overcome a lot of those limitations and open a whole new ecosystem which isn't limited by what we have developed today, but actually something that can evolve with your needs. So we looked at some of the obvious limitations. RF spectrum is limited and it's getting more difficult. I don't need to explain any of that to you. Of course, frequency coordination is complex and it won't go away because we have a lot of installed base of products there. So that's still needed, but it's time-consuming and complex. And last but not least, for anyone who's touring, there's a logistical challenge also when you tour with a lot of gear. So there was a challenge, and actually a couple of very talented researchers who are also here started to think totally different. And that led us to an approach that could be compared best to what we had from a phone with dedicated keys to a smartphone, which is a platform that you can do a lot of things. So all the gear that we have, our competition has, and anyone else has, is more or less limited to what we have invented to put it in, either through buttons or through a neat software interface that's needed to use it. But the new approach that we chose is more or less known from from the smartphone world, or from the world where there's a more or less agnostic network layer or a hardware layer that can evolve with your needs on the software side. So we don't need to replace a lot of hardware, but we want new functionality for your workflows. And this then ultimately led to the ecosystem that we talk about now. And what you're about to see, or already have seen today on the fair, is just, let's say, the first iteration, the first birth of a new ecosystem with a base station, with these products. They actually work. We're using them tonight. An antenna, and it's not a secret that there's a handheld to come. And more gear can be connected to it also in the future. But the most important thing is not necessarily the gear that you can touch today. The most important thing that it's a game-changing idea of how the solutions can evolve with your needs in the future. And last but not least, we also made sure that we respect the priorities, so that you give us as customers. 3 very important priorities. So it has to be extremely easy to use. That's why we put so much emphasis on the software. It has to be very reliable. And here, not just reliable in its system alone, but also reliable when you use single carriers with it. So it should coexist. And just one test of reliability we've had last year when we showed it here also in the booth, and it's a year ago already, when somebody from the competition, I'm not really sure who, switched on 4 or 5 carriers, single band carriers, right in the spectrum where we demoed our Specteras. So we saw them, but we could continue our demo without any interference, so it worked very well. I don't recommend doing this in a live show, however, okay? But it gave us proof that we are on the right track with creating something that is really reliable and easy to use for you. And last but not least, I emphasized it, and for me personally, this is the most important thing because reliability is probably something you expect from us anyway. something that grows with your need. That's really a developing ecosystem, and you can expect more and more and more from that ecosystem, both hardware components, but even more important, more and more software features as we continue to roll out the system and have more and more releases of that. So with that, you know the name already, so that's I don't give anything away. Let me introduce the future of pro wireless audio. Yes, I had to learn that sentence. The world's first wideband bidirectional digital wireless ecosystem. I think that says it all, right? But I've given you now the more big idea that's behind it. And the big idea is definitely a journey that will go on for many, many years. And we invite you to join us on that journey. The great thing is you don't have to throw any gear that you have away, so it can perfectly coexist. But it's a journey that will probably have more and more will take over more and more of the applications that you will cover. And to give you an idea of what's there and what can be used in due time, I'll hand over to the correct title,
Category Market Manager.
Yeah, Category Market Manager. Theresa, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Andreas, and hello, everyone. As Andreas just said, multi-channel setups can be a technical and a logistical challenge. Spectera meets this challenge. With its Sennheiser WMAS wideband technology, it unlocks remarkable ease of use, revolutionary reliability, and also ever-evolving capabilities. Spectera is an ecosystem which is easy to configure, and it also offers time-saving digital workflows. I will now drive you through the main benefits before we dive a little deeper. Let's start with the first, remarkable ease of use. This comes from the bidirectionality of the ecosystem. It handles audio signals and control data simultaneously at the same time in one single RF carrier. It also offers the bidirectional body packs, which handle mic and IEM in just one pack. And this is the first of its kind. With our brand new software LinkTest, we have full remote control and monitoring capabilities over all connected system devices. So you can control latency, audio settings, channel count, but also monitor your RF health or battery status. And last but not least, we have the base station, one rack unit for 64 channels of audio. And all this is really giving you unrivaled simplicity and versatility. Let's talk about the second benefit, the revolutionary reliability. Thanks to its unique modulation and multiplexing capabilities, Spectera is fortified against RF dropouts and interference. Plus, it offers full system redundancy, not just from its dual power supplies, but also from the redundant Dante audio connectivity, plus 4 assignable antenna ports. And all this within a hardware-built quality you can expect from Sennheiser, and of course, it fits in hybrid environments. But also this is not just the beginning. Let's now come to the third benefit, which is the most exciting one. Spectera is a constantly evolving ecosystem. So what does this mean? This is just the start. And we will further release services, hardware, functions, features over time as you require them. And for example, Andreas said it, we are already working on an SKM handheld transmitter, but also we work on things like an activation of our cascade port in order to guarantee full system redundancy. Yeah, this is a lot, right? And definitely a promising future. But let's come back to the now and here, and let's dive now through these components you have maybe seen already today or will see later. Let's start with a pioneering bidirectional body pack, the SEK. These body packs handle both mic and IM in just one pack, so they transmit and receive audio signals simultaneously. They also deliver stunning digital IEM clarity, as well as come with an ultra-low latency of down to 0.7 milliseconds. Furthermore, they are powered by our Sennheiser standard lithium-ion batteries, yes, and offer up to 7 hours of operating time based on the selected audio link mode. And this audio link mode plus all the device settings can be constantly remotely controlled from our link desk software. And this is completely brand new, so also you will see it later, something you have not seen before. This is designed around the ease of use. It has assistive behaviors, smart notifications, and the centralized user interface really provides an intuitive workflow, delivering unprecedented live remote control and monitoring capabilities. This includes IEM settings and RF health. With LinkTest, also you can manage and control the audio link modes, and this can be done for every audio link. So on the device, which has 2 links, mic and IM, you can have individual audio link modes set. And the parameters you can change here are from channel count to latency, audio quality, but also range. And all this just mentioned is enabled by the next beauty, which is the transceiving DAD antenna. These innovative antennas also transmit and receive bidirectional audio and data simultaneously on one single RF channel. With integrated RF components, as well as a single Cat5e connection, the need for additional RF components and cable are completely eliminated. And this is really the essence of the revolutionary WMAS technology: simplicity and reliability. Technologies which allow to reduce the amount of components and hardware while dramatically increasing capabilities. The next, also, the base station, is an exactly example of this. We have a single rack unit that provides 32 inputs, 32 outputs, so 64 channels of wireless audio in just, again, one single rack unit. We have primary and secondary Dante ports, which provide stable, streamlined, and redundant audio connectivity with sample rates of either 48 kHz or 96. Furthermore, it includes 4 antenna ports, and here this allows for either redundancy or extended zone coverage or additional spectrum capacity, because the base station can even deploy 2 RF channels you can choose. And finally, it also has word clock I/O, which allows fully synchronized audio throughout your entire system. Clearly, the Spectera ecosystem unlocks a new reality by streamlining the RF landscape. It comes with fewer components, increased capabilities, smoother workflows, compared to current systems. Having said that, Spectera still, though, can coexist with narrowband systems and current technologies, but it will improve, simplify, as well as uplift your productions. And this will overall create a better wireless experience with less work and more flow. Whether it's broadcast, live sound, theater, or other applications, and all this backed up with almost 80 years of Sennheiser experience and reliability, we are really excited to celebrate today with you the new era of Pro Wireless. This is definitely an applause. Please allow me now to bring Christophe back on stage, who will talk a little bit about what the value from Spectera is for our audio professionals, operators, and business owners. Thank you so much.
Thank you. In the past years, when we were on the road, I think a lot of us were asked questions, but also heard a lot of needs, a lot of challenges that were out there. And when developing something new, of course, then you try to keep that in mind and you try to find solutions for that. And I think in all the technical aspects you've heard, in the story you've heard, you might have already discovered them. But specifically with this platform, with this ecosystem, we want to find solutions on different areas. So not only for the sound engineers or for the RF specialists, but also thinking about just the ease in installing this system in a venue. The fact that we now can run with a CAT cable instead of these massive, large log antenna cables. Instead of 3 antenna cables, 2 receiving antennas, 1 transmitting antenna, it actually can be done by 1. Think about the size in truck vans for all these racks, all these spaces. A lot of people were also approaching us like the eco footprint of productions becomes more and more important. It's an aspect where this solution also finds an answer to. But it comes also into the inventory management. The fact that we are now, with one bell pack, are capable to cover multiple applications, being the transmitter or the in-ear, or both in the same time, is actually giving us a lot of opportunity, but also less inventory to have that multi-application possible in larger volumes. That comes together with also inventory management, but also maintenance. There are less cues to keep in mind. So also from a financial aspect, there are a lot of things that actually can be improved. These are a few of them. And as I said, we want to continue listening to you. It was explained, it's an ecosystem that is really starting to be further developed and where we can do even more with. And I think this is the important fact of it. Let's also continue to raise voices where challenges, needs can be improved. And we are pretty certain that we can also find new solutions together on these aspects. Now, this brings us to one of the repetitions, I will actually say. Ease of use, reliability, and ecosystem. So I believe that all of these aspects are definitely worth an impact in that system. So thank you very much for listening to all of this aspect. And I'm just closing down with actually one last bit.